Welcome to the next lesson on radicals. We're now doing lesson 2.3, multiplication of radicals. Our objective for this lesson would be to apply the laws of radicals in multiplying radical expressions and then simplify the radical expressions. Notice that the laws involved here are number 1, nth root of x times nth root of y equals nth root of xy. That's law number 2 there. And we are introducing another law. Here we have mth root of x times nth root of y, different indices. So what we do is we get the common index of m and n. Suppose m and n are relatively prime, so their common index should be the product m times n. Now we just don't write x here, we just don't write y there, but we need the correction exponent. How do we get that exponent there? We get here mn divided by m cancels, and we have n. This one, mn divided by n will give me m. Suppose m and n are not relatively prime, then you just have to get the LCM of these indices for the LCM of the product. Let's have an exercise. If we have here square root of 3 times square root of 3, this one means square root of 3 squared. And according to law number 1, that is actually 3. Suppose we get cube root of negative 5 times cube root of negative 5 times cube root of 5. Negative and negative are valid here because this index is an odd number. So we can actually have this negative and negative multiplied together, that's positive. Which means that this problem is the same as having 3 of these fifth roots. That will be there. And I cancel that by law number 1. That is equal to 5. Next one. Suppose I have square root of 10 x cubed y to the 5th times square root of 15 x squared y to the cube. If we multiply this radical and this radical, it may be pointless to multiply 10 and 15. We just have to think of 10 as 5 and 2 and 15 as 5 and 3. So that if I multiply this radicand and this radicand now, I can now have 5 and 5. I will have now a 5 squared. And then 2 times 3 is a 6. What about the x cubed? X cubed and x squared will give me x to the 5th, and y to the 5th times y cubed will give me y to the 8th. If we are going to simplify this, we need to split this factor and this factor so that their exponent will be divisible by the given index. The index here is 2. So that I can now have here 5 squared and 6, and then x to the 5th should be written as x to the 4th times x. One of the factors now is a perfect square, and y to the 8th remains as y to the 8th. Instead of using law number 2 to have how many radicals? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can just simplify this and say this here is a perfect square. So I can cancel that with what index? So I'll have a 5. And this one is not. X to the 4th and then x squared. That index 2 is x squared. This one is not. What about y to the 8? That will be y to the 4. Do not forget that we still have two factors here that are not perfect squares, so square root of 6x. Therefore, the product of these two radicals is this one. What if we have square root of 125 times square root of 625? I would like to emphasize here that it probably would be pointless if you multiply 125 and 625. Instead, we want to write this in a prime base form. We know that 125 is 5 cubed, and we also know that 625 is 5 to the 4th. So we need this form instead of this when we want to get the product of those two radicals. Multiplying this, we get what? 5 cubed and 5 to the 4th will give me 5 to the 7. And again, we can split this as 5, 6 times 5 to the 1, or 6 divided by 2 is 3. So we get 5 cubed. And then we are left with square root of 5. What if we have square root of a minus b times square root of a squared minus b squared? It would be pointless for us to do distributive multiplication here, but you will notice that a minus b is a factor of a squared minus b squared, which gives us the idea that I can get another a minus b from this expression. If that is my line of thinking, I can now have here a minus b times, this is a difference of two squares. I can factor it as a plus b, and then that is a minus b. I can now multiply this and this. This one is just one radicand here, and I'll multiply this and this. I will have 2 of a minus b. This one here and that one, times this a plus b here. There are two factors of a minus b we have here. So this is a perfect square. From law number 1, this will give me outside a minus b. And then inside will be a plus b. Be careful to put a parenthesis here, because this one is just one term. Quantity a minus b times square root of a plus b. It will not be correct if there is no parenthesis here. For number 6, let's have square root of negative 9 times square root of negative 16. Note that our radicands here are negative, and the index here is even, the index there even. So we cannot just multiply this radical and this radical. Had this been cube and cube, then we can just proceed multiplying these negative radicands. What we do instead is, we redefine square root of negative 9 as 9 times negative 1, negative 16 as 16 times negative 1. And let's recall that I squared equals negative 1. So therefore, I can rewrite that as 9i squared times 16i squared. And both of these radicands here are perfect squares, so I can just have 3i times 4i. Multiplying these two, I will get 12i squared. But I squared is equal to negative 1, so 12 times negative 1 equals negative 12. So the product of square root of negative 9 and square root of negative 16 is negative 12. It's not positive 12. Okay, let's have different indices. Let's say, for example, 8x squared y cubed times cube root of 2x cubed y squared. Here we have two radicals that have different index. This one is index 2, that one is index 3. So we cannot just multiply the radicands here, but instead we recall our theorem. M root of x times nth root of y gives us m nth root of x times y, but the correction exponent here will be m and this one will be m. Applying this one here, I may opt to simplify y cube and x cube here because they are perfect cubes, and this one I can have a perfect square here, but instead of doing that, I can proceed to having the LCM of 2 and 3, which is 6, and I will write these radicants here, 8x squared y cubed, and this is 2x cubed y squared. But I will not stop there because there's a correction exponent here, which I can get from dividing 6 by 2, I will get a 3, and then 6 by 3, I will get a 2. This one is equivalent to this, and this one and this will be equivalent to that. Okay, so simplifying the one inside, I can now have here 6. I can rewrite 8 as 2 cubed, so that instead of having 8 here, I can have here a 2 cubed, and the power of a product and power of a power will give me 2 to the 9, and this is x to the 6, this is y to the 9, times this is 2 squared, this is x to the 6, that's y to the 4th. Let's check that. This is 2 cubed, 3 and 3 is 9, that's a 6, that's a 9. This is squared, this is cubed, and that's the 4th. Okay, so now I can rewrite this one as 6 root of 2 to the 9 and 2 squared is 2 to the 11. x6 and x6 will be x to the 12, y9 and y4 will be y to the 13. Now, I need to rewrite this radicand in such a way that they can be perfect sets. One of the factors should be perfect sets. So 2 to the 11 can be written as 2 to the 6. This will not be perfect 6. And I have a remainder of 2 to the 5th. Okay, what about x to the 12? That's perfect. So, no problem with that. And then y to the 13, I can write it as y to the 12 times y. Okay, using law number 1, this becomes a 2. And then x to the 12, 6th root is x squared. And y to the 12 is y squared. Don't forget that we still have 2 to the 5th here and y in the radicand, and that is with index 6. So your answer can be written as 2x squared y squared times 6 root of 32y. That's 2 to the 5th is 32. What if I want to multiply 2 squared of 3x plus 3 squared of 2y and 2 squared of 3x minus 3 squared root of 2y. What do you notice of this first expression? This can be a plus b times a minus b, which means recall that the product of the sum and the difference of two terms will give you a difference of two squares. There will be no middle term. The middle term cancels out. So in this case, this one times this, we will just have this product and that product. So the first term times the first term will give me 4 times 3x squared. And then second term and second term will give me negative 9 square root of 2y squared. Simplifying this is a perfect square, so we get 4 times 3x, and then this is 9 times 2y, or 12x minus 18y. We are assuming that all the variables here, x, y, are positive, so that we don't need to consider absolute value here. The last example, suppose I have here square root of 3x plus 3 square root of 2y. Instead of multiplying by the sum and the difference, I am going to square this. So, you're multiplying 2 square root of 3x plus 3 square root of 2y by itself. But that's the same as squaring a binomial. And if you remember your previous year, squaring a binomial will require a middle term, twice the product of the first and the second plus the square of the second. Okay? So we have here square the first term. So 2 square root of 3x squared, and then I will square the second term. Plus, I don't forget the middle term, 2 times the product of the first term and the second term, 3 square root of 2y. Simplifying this, we get square this will give you 3x. If you square this, it gave you a 4. It will give you a 4. 4 times 3x will give me 12x. This one, if you square this, you will get a 2y times the square of this is a 9. So 9 times 2y is 18y. And this last term here, you just have to multiply the coefficients. 2 times 2, 4 times 3 is 12. And then these radicals, applying law number 2, 3x times 2y square root will give me 6xy. There are no more similar terms here, so we are left with this answer. That ends multiplication of radicals. For your assignment, I will give that through Edmodo. Thank you.